Don't try to gloss it over and pretend like everything's okay just because you're trying to stay positive. Okay, staying positive, yes, it's amazing. But in your human experience, in this life, we all experience some really hard stuff, things that are dark, that are heavy, that are challenging, that are hard to process. And so just telling yourself, oh, just be positive, it's fine, to be positive, it's fine, you're actually harming yourself. Hey there, it's Agnes. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Today, I want to discuss how to make real change in your life. If you've really struggled in the past and you're tired of struggling and you just want a joyful life and you want to feel happy and you want to feel fulfilled, but you're having a hard time letting go of things that weren't your fault and things where you felt victimized and things where you felt were unfair. When these things happen to you, the natural response is to want to talk about them. The natural response is to want to vent and tell your side of the story and complain a little. And you want people to sympathize with you. You want people to understand your side of the story. And that's why we get so stuck on retelling those stories over and over. But here's the thing. When you tell those stories of the things that happened to you that were bad, that were wrong, what happens is your body doesn't know the difference of when it's actually physically happening to you and when you're just talking about it or thinking about it or imagining it. Those stress chemicals that were released at the time when it happened continue to be released over and over and over again every single time that you pay it attention and that you talk about it. And so this is why it's so important to train yourself to not talk about all of those bad things that have happened to you. And the thing is it's a fine line, because here's what happens. If you suppress your emotions, this is equally as bad. Suppressing your emotions will cause physical pain, physical illness, ailments, all kinds of things. Emotions can get literally stuck inside of our bodies. So when you suppress things, when you pretend like everything's fine and it's not fine, this is equally as damaging as talking about your problems all the time. So it's like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? I can't talk about it and I can't suppress it. What am I supposed to do? It's like either way I'm screwed, right? So here, I want to give you a practice that you can do that will actually help to release these things just once and for all, just so you can be done with it, so that you can actually move on. One of the things is start practicing noticing and talking about the things that are going right in your life. So it's not so much ignoring the things that are going wrong or pretending like things didn't go wrong, but it's getting good at describing and savoring the things that are going right. There's got to be hundreds of things every single day that go perfectly well for you. Things that are simple that we sometimes take for granted. When my son was a baby, he ended up in the hospital for about a week and a half. And when he was in the hospital, I couldn't put him down because he would cry. So I just sat in that chair with him, holding him for like 3 days. And the nurse came in and she was like, have you showered? Have you been taking care of yourself? You know, all of these things. And I was like, no, I just want to make sure the baby's okay. And, you know, I was a mess. And so she was like, let me take the baby. You go, there's a parent family area. You can go over there. You can shower. You know, you need some self-care. You need a little break. So she said, go and shower. And I can tell you that when I took that hot shower that day, it literally felt like the most luxurious thing that I have ever experienced in my entire life. And I said to myself that day that I would never take a hot shower for granted again, because that hot shower was just everything in that moment, you know? And of course, I have taken hot showers for granted all the time. I still do it all the time, even though I made that promise to myself then. But the point is that we have those moments all the time that we are constantly taken for granted. The comforts, the warm bed, the phone that we have that just instantly gives us access to anything we need. Our car gets us everywhere we need to go, and many of us now have cars that are very comfortable, and you know, you have heated seats and power windows and all of these, like, just little things that you don't think about, but they are such conveniences that we didn't have even just a few years ago. But we take these little things for granted. We don't really talk about them because they're just a norm of everyday life. And we even complain, you know, it's like when you have to do your laundry, you complain about it, but actually it's like, man, I have a washing machine that does the whole process for me. I don't have to hand wash anything. I don't have to line dry. I don't have, you know, it's like I have such a convenient way of doing my laundry, and I get to just throw it in there and it does it for me, and so does the dishwasher. And I mean, it's just a matter of like switching your perspective of how you look at the things that you have available to you every day, and noticing it and making a note, and making the point of actually realizing that, and add it into your conversations. Include it in on conversations. If you have a great meal, if you have a great experience, if you have, like, you know, you take a walk and you see something really cool on your walk, or you notice a bird that caught your attention, that made you feel connected with nature, you know, talk about these things. When you get on the phone with your friends, instead of talking about your problems, which your problems are there and they are real, but all of the other things that went amazingly well for you today are also there and also real. So why do we ignore all of those good things and only shine light on all of these bad things? Well, there's actually a reason why we do that. It's because our brains are literally designed to highlight the bad things for us to keep us alive. If you think back before modern day, when you were we were in the jungle, our ancestors, and if they got so caught up looking at the butterflies and the pretty flowers and the beautiful blue sky, they would completely miss the predator that was lurking, that was gonna attack you and eat you. So our brains are designed for us to keep a lookout for the negative stuff, for the scary stuff, for the dangerous stuff, because if we weren't, we wouldn't survive. So, but now in modern day, we no longer have to worry about these predators, but now we have to rewire our brains. We have to reshape the way that we're thinking. And we have to remind ourselves that, hey, I'm not in danger. Thinking about things that are dangerous, that are negative, that are harmful, that are sad, that are terrible, doesn't serve me. And actually, I have to focus on things that are the good things in my life. I have to focus on these things. I have to remember to talk about these things. I have to remember to notice these things and make them a bigger part of my reality of who I am. You have to make all of the positive things, highlight them to the point where they become the majority of what you're noticing versus the things that are going wrong. So this isn't going to be necessarily easy. This is something that you literally have to learn and practice. And as far as when you have a situation that really brings you down, something that is really upsetting, that is really, you're struggling to accept, okay? Don't suppress this situation. Don't try to gloss it over and pretend like everything's okay just because you're trying to stay positive. Okay, staying positive, yes, it's amazing. But in your human experience, in this life, we all experience some really hard stuff. We experience things that are dark, that are heavy, that are challenging, that are hard to process. And so just telling yourself, oh, just be positive, it's fine to be positive, it's fine, you're actually harming yourself. Don't do that. It's not that you have to be positive all the time. When something is at the surface, address it. Don't ignore it. But also don't keep rehashing it forever and ever, because that will put you in in high levels of stress that are going to affect your health. So a practice that you can do, and this works exceptionally well. One is you can find one person to talk about it to. Get it out and then release it. Just get it out, get it all out there, cry the tears that you need to cry, and release it and let it go. If you're having trouble letting it go, then get out a pen and paper and journal it out and write a letter to the person that hurt your feelings, to the person that put you in the situation that was wrong. And write everything that you feel. Write everything that they did that was awful and how it affected you, and get it all out. Don't hold any of it back. And then take that paper that you wrote and burn it in the fire. When you burn it in the fire, you physically release the situation sort of into the earth, into nature. There's something about burning a letter like that just, and I don't know how this works. Truly, I don't know how this works. I know that it works. I know that it works because I've done it. If you have something that you're holding on to from childhood or from maybe an old job or an old relationship, and it's really just, you're holding it and you're really having a hard time releasing it, write a letter. Write it out in as much detail as you can. Give yourself a few days. Don't rush the process. Really take the time to write out those details and burn it, release it. And you will truly feel the weight just off your body and off your shoulders. And you will feel a sense that it's been resolved, that it no longer needs to be talked about. It no longer needs to be brought into your current reality anymore. You will feel powerful. You will feel like you've regained your sense of power over the situation, and you'll be able to move on. But the last thing that you want to do is continually talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. You are hurting yourself. And when you do that, you not only hurt yourself, but you hurt the person that you're constantly talking about it to, or the people. Like, I've had people in my life that, I've had a situation where I ran into somebody that I don't even know very well, and they just tell me like all their deepest, darkest problems, and it brings you down. Have you ever had this happen to you? It brings you down when people tell you all the heavy things. They put that heaviness on you, and then now you have to carry it, right? And so be very mindful of how you're sharing all of the things that bring you down, and ask yourself if it's really empowering you to keep talking about this, to keep holding on to this, and is it really empowering the person that you're dumping it on? And how else can you cope, and how else can you deal? And I know there's things that sometimes are just so hard, and you might need to go the professional route and have a support system, and you might need to go through therapy and counseling and work through things that are the big things that are really holding you back. But just be mindful that through therapy and counseling that you don't get into a situation where you're just constantly reliving something that happened once. When it happened at the time, there was a pain there that you experienced. And that pain was very real, and every single person on this earth experiences pain at one point or another. But when you carry it through your life and you continue to bring it into your current moment, this is where you bring yourself into suffering. And suffering doesn't necessarily have to be a part of your reality. The pain, you didn't get a choice. The pain happened, you experienced it. But the suffering, you actually get a choice. You actually don't have to suffer by reliving it. So try the technique with the letter, the burning of the letter. And remember that a lot of the things that we get hung up on, a lot of the stresses that we hold and the resentments that we hold and the anger that we hold, a lot of it is insignificant, really, to the bigger picture. Take a step back at the bigger picture. Look at your life. Look at all the positive aspects of your life. Remind yourself of all the thousands of blessings that continue to show up in your life every single day. Pay attention to them. Talk about them. And every time that you feel yourself getting pulled into the victim mindset, the mindset of, why did this have to happen to me? Why did this person say this? Why did this person act this way? Why didn't this person, every single time that you feel yourself getting pulled, actively work on pulling yourself back to the other side of gratitude, of positivity, of choosing to see the positive side, choosing to see. And if there is no positive side to this specific situation, then choose to see the positive side of other parts of your life that maybe you're not paying attention to. Maybe there's so many amazing things that are happening right now in your life that you're just fully ignoring and you're not paying any attention to. And maybe start paying attention to those things. Increase your gratitude. Increase your ability to really focus on the things that are just working out and shine a light on those things. I never want to be that person that is like the toxic positivity person, just be positive, just slap a smile on your face and everything will be okay. That's never my intention. I hope none of my videos ever come off this way. But we definitely have the capacity to notice the things that are going right in our lives. Self-reflection and self-awareness will give you a lot of your power back. You may have felt powerless in a situation when something happened to you, but the way in which you move forward is a choice, and you do get to decide. And there are tools that will help you, and if you choose to use them, and if you really want change in your life, you will use them, and you can make a change. And before I end this video, I'll leave you with one last thing. When something happens to you that is very upsetting, and you feel like you need to talk about it and you need to share with other people and get it off your chest and sort of vent, I would invite you instead to try one very simple thing, which most of us don't do, and that is just to sit and feel what you're feeling. Because a lot of us, what we do is we actually try to escape the feeling. So by venting, maybe you have a drink or you try to numb it any other different kind of way. Instead of doing that, sit in your feeling and really just allow yourself to feel something, even if it's negative. allow yourself to feel it and let the feelings go through the cycle that they need to go through. I hope this helps you. Please write your letters. Let me know how the process goes. Let me know if it helps. And if you have a friend that needs to hear this message, please share. If you have an idea for an upcoming video, or if this brings up a memory for you, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.